Hello and welcome back to Movie Health Community, the internet's #1 source of health warnings at the movies. As always, please keep in mind that nothing produced by Movie Health Community is medical advice, nor has any of it been reviewed by any medical professionals. Today we're talking about Bob Marley, One Love, the new biopic about Bob Marley, starring Ken from Barbie as Bob Marley. But before we talk about whether this movie is any good, let's talk about if this movie is safe for photosensitive audiences. The answer is no! Bob Marley, One Love is not safe for photosensitive audiences. This movie has several scenes of cameras flashing from all directions. This creates strobe effects in each one. One of these scenes is the opening scene, including the opening shot of the movie. The rest of the scenes that have this are really hard to predict when the cameras are about to start flashing, which is one of the things that makes this movie so risky for photosensitive audiences. There is also one scene, and this is more predictable, there is also one scene with machine guns at night that create very bright muzzle flashes with strobe effects. That also happens in one scene. For flashing lights, we are giving Bob Marley, One Love an 8 out of 10. Heavy caution just because of the cameras. The camera motion for almost this entire movie is really smooth and not disorienting, but there are two shots where the camera orbits a person at fairly high speed, so it creates a spinning effect. And that can be a little disorienting, but it only happens twice in this movie, so it's not a major risk. And the brevity of that is what makes that such a low risk. The only trigger warning I have for this movie is that many, many innocent people become victims of firearm violence. Now, is this movie any good? This comes from a fairly rapidly building list of musical artist biopics that have come out ever since Bohemian Rhapsody in 2018. Seems like that movie really reinvigorated this genre of movie, and that's been nice to see. We've had some absolute hits like Rocket Man and Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and we've had some really forgettable ones like I Want to Dance with Somebody. I think that Bob Marley, One Love is going to be on the same tier as I Want to Dance with Somebody. I don't think this is going to be a very memorable movie. I do think that Kingsley Ben-Adir was born to play Bob Marley. He was great in this role, in this movie. And I think that any movie with Lashana Lynch is automatically better just because she's in it. But going back to Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm not going to say that Bohemian Rhapsody is an absolute masterpiece. That movie makes a lot of the wrong decisions that all of these other subsequent musical biopics have gone on to make. Mainly focusing a lot more on the drama and a lot less on the music, and sometimes manufacturing drama to put in there in place of the music. Now, I saw Bob Marley, One Love on a Dolby screen, and the sound of this music, especially with the reggae bass lines, was beautiful. And that alone would make this movie worth the theatrical experience. But let's take it back to one of the best things that Bohemian Rhapsody did, which was end with a 10-minute finale of Queen music at one of the greatest rock concert events of living memory, which was the Live Aid concert. Imagine if Bohemian Rhapsody had ended right at the moment that Freddie Mercury walks out on stage for the concert, or the moment he sits down and holds his fingers above the piano keys to start playing Bohemian Rhapsody. If the movie had cut to black at any of those points, that's how Bob Marley, One Love ended. It ended with him stepping onto stage for one more concert, and it did not follow through with that concert. And I think this movie could have really been elevated and showed off more of Kingsley Ben-Adir's amazing acting and just his presence as Bob Marley that he's doing so good at bringing to this mediocre movie. I am going to give Bob Marley, One Love a C-, just because it did not focus enough on the music. Thank you so much to our readers on Tumblr and Facebook, and as always, an extra special thanks to our patrons over on our Patreon page, whose names are scrolling across the screen like credits right now. If you missed it during my Madam Web review, we have added a new perk to the $5 tier of our Patreon page, where you can request a video just like this one about any movie if it can be rented for under $5, or if it's available on any of the streaming services to which I have access, which I'll be honest, becomes a little fluid sometimes, I will be happy to make a video like this. If you put in a request through the $5 tier, I will sit down to this movie that you request and watch it with fresh eyes. I will evaluate it for health hazards, and I will bring you a review just like this. Even if I've already evaluated it on this page before in text form, which we've got over 1,100 movies that we've done that to at this point. So again, this is something I'm excited to add to the $5 tier of our Patreon page. Be sure to leave a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when we post new videos, and as always, stay safe at the movies.